Man, this Power Rangers stuff is pretty serious business. I gotta like map out a plot to find out the right direction. I gotta pick the right franchise, the right entry in that franchise. I gotta like make sure to sign a waiver to make sure I never speak ill of any Tokusatsu series. I gotta buy all the merch. I gotta do all this stuff. And if I watch the wrong show like 01, I'm gonna get like blasted by Twitter for like picking the wrong show. This is hyperbole. This is a joke. The definitions for both are here, but there's some truth to that. Hi, I'm Busham0, everybody's favorite toku fraud VTuber. I've only uploaded 2 toku videos. I think I need to change that. So we're starting with now because I've been having this thought in my mind for a while because I'm seeing a lot of people just now getting into toku, especially because of Shin Kamen Rider recently. And I'm starting to realize that there's a significant bar for entry to get into tokusatsu, right? I don't feel like that's really that disputable. I think it is genuinely difficult for the average person to get into tokusatsu as opposed to like the average anime, right? Anime fans right now have options with like Netflix, they have Crunchyroll, they have Amazon Prime, they have High Dive, aka the Oshinoko service, right? They have options for where to easily get their anime. For their manga, Viz is like $2 a month. And like every single Barnes and Noble in the universe has an entire manga section. It's not hard to get into anime and manga, right? At least nowadays. Toku right now is kind of where anime was in the 2000s, except now more people are used to the easily accessible medium that anime is into because of streaming services, right? So to get into Toku, I gotta like consider all kinds of things. Where do I watch it? Shout Factory. I'm not familiar with their model. I don't watch it on Shout Factory. Then you gotta worry about like the right resources for it. You gotta like find like everything spread out. Ultraman's over here, Kamen Rider's over here sometimes, but sometimes they don't even call it Kamen Rider. Sometimes they call it Masked Rider, which, okay, sure. Good luck finding Super Sentai, I guess. Old style Godzilla films are everywhere but also nowhere, but like it's just spread out. You just gotta spread out and find it. You're foraging, like you gotta, in order to find my guys in rubber suits, I gotta like work for it, right? You're finally experiencing what the average anime fan did in the 2000s, right? But to get into Kamen Rider and OG Super Sentai, now you're getting a bunch of people who just have different opinions on what show you should get into, right? Me personally, I started with Gaim. Gaim was my first Kamen Rider series, and the only reason I got into Gaim was because I'm a big fan of shows like Madoka Magica and Fate Zero, right? So Urobuchi, he's known as like the GOAT in the 2010s, right? So I found out, oh, look at that, the Uro Butcher made a funny Kamen Rider show, and everybody's like fruits, but apparently it's just Madoka Magica. And then I watched it, and it indeed was Madoka Magica, but with like breakdancing gangs with fruit powers, and then the guy becomes Jesus at the end. So it's Madoka Magica, and it's not a perfect show. Gaim by no means is a perfect show. It's flawed. It has issues. I think it kind of falls off a little bit in the second half. It's a bit wacky. Everyone who loves it is annoying about it the same way they're annoying about Fate Zero and Attack on Titan back in the day. If we adapted it for HBO, it would be mainstream and taken seriously, big boy show for big boy, big man. And like, dog, they were breakdancing, playing Pokemon 5 minutes ago while the other guy broke out the fucking plastic toy to shoot oranges at him. Like, what are you talking about? But that's like a fair starting point for the average person, right? Most people will pick things based off of what they most recently saw. And I feel like the Toku community at this point is, again, it's insecure like the anime community was back in the 2010s. So they're like constantly trying to force you to make sure you watch the best version. Like, for example, LittleKuriboh, he's just now getting into Tokusatsu, and he was watching Kamen Rider 01, right? fair starting point. It's the first entry in the Reiwa era. There's some clean designs in it all around. I like the characters a lot. It does fall off in the second half. It's a fine starting point, but the entire of Toku Twitter was descending upon it. Like, oh no, LittleKuriboh picked the wrong Tokusatsu series, and he's gonna hate the entire medium. He's gonna shit on it. He's gonna blaspheme it to the rest of the world. If he speaks negatively about Tokusatsu, then the world's gonna think negatively about Tokusatsu. Will never be respected as a medium. Dog, he made Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged. He's a Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan. A little bit of camp and a little bit of falling off in the second half is not gonna stop him from liking it. But second of all, it's a fair starting point. Usually your first thing in a medium is not gonna be the best one, right? I mean, for fuck's sake, one of my first shows that I ever watched in anime was Inuyasha. Lord knows Inuyasha is not in anybody's top 10. I feel like that's a thing. Combined with the issue of trying to find the right place to start, trying to find a place to actually start and watch it, because I'll be real with you, I may or may not be sailing the 7 seas in order to watch my stuff, because it's the only way I'll get a good translation, a timely translation, and available for me at all times. Part of why it's an issue for me. You could use the funny illegal sites, but every time I've used an illegal site, I've wanted to jump off a cliff. So I'm not doing that. I'm busting out the funny website that sounds like a cat, and I'm just gonna download all my funny tokusatsu, right? Unfortunately, that's the way I gotta experience it. That's the prime way to experience it. It's how most people are gonna watch it, because Joe Dumbass is making a second appearance in this video. Joe Dumbass does not know where to watch Kamen Rider. Joe Dumbass from Wisconsin never experienced it. He's off his 9 to 5 and he just wants to watch some Kamen Rider, dog. And he's never gonna do it, because to find it, he's gotta search for that shit like the One Piece, right? And then like you have to pick one that like suits your needs. If you're into Power Rangers, it's probably easier for you to get into Super Sentai. If you like Power Rangers but are insecure about the fact that it's a show for kids, then you want something slightly more serious, you can watch Kamen Rider, I guess. If you really want to be HBO minded, then watch Garo. And if you're Hideaki Anno, you watch Ultraman. Or you could be like the mecha fans who just want to feel real special and become solely a Godzilla fan. You are the film bro of the Toku community, but that's good for you. Any of these are valid. But like, it's the problem of gateway into entry, and it doesn't help that like legal channels for getting into these things are really, really bad. Just look at the release for Shin Kamen Rider. They didn't even like show that movie in theaters worldwide. They did it in America, and the EU fuckers are stuck over there just imagining what the film could possibly look like, or looking at cam rips. And then the release, you try to find the movie that was marketed as Shin Kamen Rider, and you can't find it because some dumbass thought it'd be easier to call it Masked Rider. Who's doing this? Who's responsible for the distributions for these things? And like, I think it's in a worse place at some points than the anime community was in the 2010s, because at least the anime community was like dominated by two of like either Netflix, which was like the biggest streaming platform in the market at the time, or it was Crunchyroll, which has like 90% of all anime that anyone would usually watch, right? You have easier options, but now for Toku fans, it seems like the people who are going through the legal channels to distribute this stuff are just really, really bad at it. And I feel like that has to change for Toku to become more accessible. Otherwise, the only solution we can make is going to the funny illegal websites. And you could find out how to do that. You could Google it. I just feel like we should just be making it easier for entry for these people until the legal channels and distribution become better. Because yeah, it is a little difficult to get into Tokusatsu, and I think that's a shame, because there's a lot of things that people are missing out on. Also, it doesn't help that a lot of people in the anime community look down on it, despite the fact that all their precious creators like Hideaki Anno and all of them basically take influence from Tokusatsu all the damn time, but yet they act like they're above it all the time. It's so cute. It's a toy commercial. It's a toy commercial, so it means I'm above it, unlike my other toy commercials like Gundam and One Piece. But if you want more suggestions on Toku or want more videos about Toku, make sure you like and subscribe and comment down below, and check out my other 2 Toku videos. I'm planning on making more, so if you guys get these views up for these videos, I might be like influenced to make more. Also, you should, if you want to get these videos a day early, make sure you hit that join button. They're also able to vote in polls for what videos get made. That's why this video is being made in the first place. They voted for this one. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.